Welcome to Driveway Garage. I just bought another project. It's a 2013 Toyota Prius C Edition 3. I've had several Priuses, but not this particular kind. I bought it. A tree fell down on the highway just a couple blocks from here, and just perfect timing. It fell and this lady hit it. Young lady, 19 years old, I guess. Couldn't avoid it, but she's just lucky because you see where the tree hit, or where she hit the tree. A few seconds later, probably would have went through the windshield or the roof. Been a lot worse for her. I've got to replace the windshield. It's got a lot of little cracks in it. Probably drivable the way it is, but as you can see, it needs a quarter panel. It's going to need a hood. It's pretty bashed up. Bumper. I'm not sure what all in here. I don't know if this holds water or not. Haven't got that far. This stuff looks pretty good. This might be bent back, but I won't know till I get the bumper back, or bumper off. He thought it was a lot worse damage until we opened the hood. He didn't even open the hood. And this piece of metal here bolts on. There's a bolt there, a bolt there. I think just one there. So I can get a piece there and bolt that in. Looking at it, this support has been bent back, so I'm going to have to pull that forward somehow, wherever it's attached. Maybe down in, that's part of the headlight. Maybe just the bracket down in here. I just don't know yet. Once I get the bumper off and the other headlight out, I can compare side to side and see what I'm looking at. I'm going to try to film as much of this as possible. It's going to be an ongoing project. Right now I just started taking the bumper off, and you have to take these clips out. There's a Phillips screw on both sides, but they don't have to come out because that just holds this piece of rubber. Or this used to all be connected. You got these little clips, and you pop the center up with a flat screwdriver or something. That loosens it, then you just pull them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Now the bumper is almost ready. I got that one to pop out of there yet. That's holding the bumper on. I'm going to put my jack under here, see if I can find a good place to jack it up. And I think there's some more clips on the bottom of the bumper holding it. But I just don't remember. It's been a while since I took one of these off. But yeah, got to be something holding it down there. Screws or clips, something. So let me get this jacked up and see what else I'm looking at to get this bumper off. Okay, so the bumper is off. Step one. Now, you're working close to the ground. I couldn't get a jack under there, but set it up here where you can see it. Quit falling over. It's just gonna keep falling over, dang it. Gee, man, the crickets. Stay in one spot for a minute. There. So, I think there was about 8 or 9 bolts. Kind of screws. Let me show this to you. Now that I have them out, I notice there's a couple different lengths. This is fine thread. Shorter ones are a little coarse thread. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course, I can't tell you where they came from, but this corner is broken off. So there's probably another one in that corner, maybe. Who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So when you're going to do this, you got to take the top ones out, then the bottoms. But you could take all the bottom ones out first, and then leave 1 or 2 in the very top to hold it. And then when you're ready, take those out, and it'll just come right off. This is the styrofoam that goes behind the bumper. I'm familiar with this from another one I replaced on a different vehicle. It's got those little nipples of styrofoam that hold it in place, but that one broke off. This one was already broke off. So I just get in here and remove the loose parts, like this junk here that's, I don't even know what it is. We'll figure it as we go. Part of the headlight, I'm guessing. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the headlight off of here. If I remember right, it's been a while. There's a screw here, screw or bolt, and one up here. Sorry. And then I think the headlight slides out, if I remember right. I've done a lot of different, oh, there's another one over here. Might go to the headlight, probably does. I think if I remember right, you have to loosen the bumper to get the headlights out. Well, we got that part accomplished, so let me get the headlight off of there, and we can have a better picture from side to side what we're doing. I've got my charger on here, trying to bring, oh, now it's done, I guess. Maybe it doesn't like it. Maybe the battery's bad. I don't know. Trying to get it to go to trickle charge there. I would like to get the battery in the car charged up. It was partially charged because I got the trunk open, and we were able to get it into neutral. We got it charged enough earlier to turn the steering wheel to get it straight so it'd go in the tow truck. Let me go ahead and get that headlight out of there. See what we're looking at there. Oh, I got those 3 screws out of there, and they're actually either a Phillips, big Phillips, or a 10mm. So I just went ahead and used the 10mm. 2 of them have Phillips slots on them, and it practically just fell out once I took the last screw out. So now you got to undo the lights. So let's see. There, just push down on the tab. That releases those. That slips on there somehow. Ouch. Come on. Release. I'll get you over there a little closer so you can see. It's just push tabs to release the wiring harness, but they're clipped onto the headlight. Let me show you that. So these tabs, each one you just push down on it, it'll release. And then this has got a clip here and a clip over here. I just have to figure out. It looks like maybe a screwdriver. Just pry up this side here and that'll pop out of there. So let me go ahead and pry those out of there, and then the headlight will come out completely. So they're held on there with friction. It's a plastic clip with metal in the middle, and it just slides over a piece of plastic. So I just took a screwdriver and pried them off of there. So that side's out. This side, of course, who knows, maybe it's all shredded. No, I guess there's pieces, parts and pieces there. Hopefully it's usable. Now that one's broke, so I'll have to get that little piece. But anyway, that's how you get the headlights out. Now, I don't even know what all in here. That looks like it could be part of the headlight, but I don't know for sure. It looks complete, it's not broken. So I'll hang on to it for now. Put it up there. I've got some parts in the back seat, but they're gonna go in the trash mostly. I'm gonna disconnect the parts for the headlights. I got a little trash can out here I'll just throw all the junk in there. So let me see what else I can get off of here. This looks like it wants to come off pretty easy. There's a clip out of something. Well, let's see, just from looking at it. I'm gonna have to get some kind of a measuring thing. Maybe I can put a board across the front of the bumper and then measure how far this is back, if it's been tweaked much. Trash. It'll be nice if these have not been bent. And from the looks of it, it doesn't look like they were. So maybe the headlight took most of the impact and maybe this piece of metal here that will unbolt. Let me get some more of this off here and see what we're looking at. So that stuff there is tree bark. It's wedged in there pretty good. Part of the headlight was still there. Pieces of it. I got that out. I took the screw out, but that bark is jammed back in that piece of metal. So I'll have to get that out of there and see what we're looking at as far as damage. I'm gonna see how much these parts cost. Like this thing, I wouldn't think would be too expensive because it just bolts on. I could probably take a hammer and vise and bend it around, make it look like it's supposed to. Maybe it's supposed to look like this. Just kind of has a curve to it. Oh, a little bit of an arch right there. It's still kind of got the arch. It's got the curve, but it's kinked right there. And this part's all smashed up, but it might be fixable. It's supposed to look like this over here where the screw goes in it. Now they ripped the fender off of it. There was a little piece of metal under this screw, but the fender's in the back seat. So I'll see about trying to straighten it, but if it's 15-20 bucks, I'll just get a new one and bolt it on. This part, same thing. You can hammer that in, try to straighten this as much as possible. If not, trying to see, yeah, this part bolts on, but this part is welded. So I'm going to do my best to straighten that up because I don't have a welder and I don't want to get into welding pieces or plastic. So for now, maybe I'll go ahead and figure out how that gets bolted in there and take it completely out. It's amazing, this headlight is still intact, but I turned the headlights on, and I think because of the accident and the airbags going off, it won't let even the headlights come on, won't let the car start. You have to replace the airbag module. It kind of shorts out after there's an accident, and I can see why, because people would be driving around without airbags if they could. So I'm gonna have to get a module ordered. This one's intact. This one is, oh, that one just plugs in here, so maybe I can just order this. What else? This one's intact. This one, whatever it went to, is gone. The headlight's not here. They must have thrown that away. I'll do some more looking. I may have to take the other fender off to get a better picture of what everything looks like. But my goal is to do as little work as possible, of course, you know. This is jacked up here just because we kind of pried it up with the hood. It's catching on the hood right here because that arm's bent. That arm is supposed to be straight, like this one, with the little flare out, and it flares in. So I'll have to unbolt the hood, get the hood off there, then get these things bent back into place. This is part of where the quarter panel bolts onto, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, they just tore it off. But all in all, it's not as bad as it could be. I gotta find out about this area, what all is supposed to be where. And it's hard to do with the quarter panel on there. Oh, I can see that piece there. Comes out on a 90-degree curve there, and it's got a piece that goes up there. So I'm guessing this part. Problem with doing some of this stuff, that piece is broke right there. Maybe I can get it into place, but it might snap off. Ooh, I'm in luck. 2 bolts hold this on. I can replace that easy enough. These ground wires look like they're all good. Yeah, this may not be such a bad project. And a person, if it's not leaking, a person could drive with the windshield like it is. I don't know if you guys can even see the cracks, but something hit it up here and a little bit of a star. There's a crack that goes from here across and then back, but nothing right in front of the driver. Might try to sell it as is without spending 400 bucks on a new windshield. We'll see. Well, let me see what else I can do here. Well, I took a crescent wrench, narrowed it down. I got this bent back almost to where it belongs. This part was bent back, kind of in a 45. I straightened it. I bent this one back around, so now it's on a 90, kinda. So if you get a good look at that one, and then you look at this one, this one's on a 90. I guess that one's not straight up and down. It flares back a little bit, so I guess I bent it too far, but I don't know. We're gonna know when we try to put a quarter panel on there, because I see that's the bracket for that, which means this is gonna have to be kind of, oh, that's right. No, yep. Yeah, this bolts on, so I'm gonna get a new one. I need the strength in there for the fender. I don't want to try to well, I can't weld it, so I need it to be strong. So, onward and upward, right? I like to use power tools as much as possible. So I've got this Chemo 90-degree wrench, and it works really good for tight places that you can't get a regular drill in. I also, as you see down there, I have my cordless drill, and that one is kind of like a drill, but there's another one I use that is a little like a small impact 3/8 drive. Well, you can slip different bits in it. So I see that this had a piece of plastic. Let me get you a little closer. It's stuck right there. It's part of that wash reservoir, and the other part is back in the corner here. You have to come up from the back side. I'm going to see if I can get that bolt out of there. I'm probably going to have to replace that thing because the one part's broken that brackets it in there, and it's so twisted that I don't think it's savable. But let me get in behind the tire there and get that other bolt out, and I'll have you watch me. What the heck. Another 10mm bolt. Now, I noticed this has a couple sensors on it, and they're unclipped, so I don't know if it's part of that wiring harness or if they're gone or what. I'll have to figure that out. But I could fill it with water, see if it's going to hold water, but this part right here is broken out, so it should sit in there. And I think this probably has been bent from the accident, so I'll just get a new one. But if a guy could find that piece of plastic, which is right in there on a bolt, if it doesn't leak, you could use it again. I'm gonna have to find out about these sensors. You can see the piece down there that broke off. I just don't think it's going to be salvageable. It's been tweaked too much, but I'm going to hang on to it for now, because you never know, maybe with some plastic glue, guy might be able to save it. Alright, I think I'm going to get something, a 5-gallon bucket, put a board across here, do some measuring, see what else is tweaked out of place. Well, there you have it. 5-gallon bucket is perfect. I got a 4x4 that's pretty straight. I'll take a few measurements from one side to the other. I watched the guy who took some metal, like a 1-inch, 3/4 inch tubing, and he welded some brackets on it, and he made it so you could put it in a bolt in the back corner, piece that came down, and then another piece that was longer that came down, and he could take measurements crisscross and see exactly how far he needed to tweak his car. But in his case, the front of the frame there was tweaked over 1 inch, so he had to, it was like this, he had to tweak it 1 inch, which he got it done. I don't think I have that problem with this one. So let me grab a tape measure. Let's see what we have. I brought out a tiny tape measure because I don't have to measure far. So on the, what is this bottom one? The top one's feet. That's probably metric, I suppose. It was right on the 5. So would that be 15 millimeters? Gotta be more than that. Yeah, it says 5 millimeters, 15 millimeters. Oh, sure, bump it. 5 1/4 and 5. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll show it to you so you can see better. Let me get you closer. So if you look at this part of the frame, it's nice and flat right here. So that's the untouched side, of course. This side, I'm looking at it, it's bent right here. It's been impacted there, and it sits back just a little bit further than the other side. It's not much, and it might not affect anything because the only thing that probably even goes in there is the styrofoam bumper right there. But I might be able to take a hammer and beat that out a little bit, flatten this, or do like I did with the crescent wrench, put it on here, get some leverage like a pipe, see if I can tweak it just a little bit. But I'm going to have a better way of making sure my 4x4 is exactly square with the vehicle or perpendicular so I can get better measurements. Let me mess with that for a minute and I'll see what we come up with. Well, I got it on there, so according to further back in the frame, I'll show you what I did. I measured at this joint here out, and the same thing on this side, and I got that exact. And then I measured from this bolt out, it was 3 1/4, and this bolt out was 3 1/4. So I think I just tweaked this part here a little bit. As you can see, that's bent, but this part in here, it did not move. So the frame itself is good. So if I can hammer this just a little bit, it's not going to change the geometrics of anything, geometry, whatever. I think I'll be all right. Now I'm just going to have to start ordering parts. I got to order this part, and I guess I'll have to take that other fender off. Oh, that part that's really bent down there, that thing, I'll have to get a new piece of styrofoam because the end's broken off. Actually, you could probably just put that back in there because there's the piece that fell off of it, I think. Unless it's missing more. I don't know. I'll have to measure it. Anyway, this might be a lot easier to fix than I thought. Of course, I've got to get a new hood, but I'm going to leave it on for now, or take it off, put it back on. Maybe I'll go ahead and take it off, put a blanket up there so I don't do more damage. It can't be too heavy. What I did before, and I won't do it here because I can't drive this car. I had to take a hood off. I pulled it underneath my awning here, and right on the end, I tied not a bungee cord, a tie-down strap, the ratcheting one, and I got it around the top, hooked it to the hood, put some tension on it, and then when I took the bolts out, I could just pick it up, swing it out of the way. I can't do that with this one. It's just going to be too hard having to push it around, so I'll put a blanket up there on the glass. Once I get the bolts out, she'll come right off. My stepson will be home in an hour. If I'm not feeling frisky, I'll wait for him to come home and help me. But this hood shouldn't weigh too much. I'm sure it weighs less than 50 pounds. We'll find out. I don't want to do any more damage, but if I can get that off there, I'll see how straight I can get that other bracket from there to there. Who knows? We'll find out. Well, I got the hood off. It wasn't too bad. You got the hood strut on the right to hold it, and I put that blanket up in the window, so when I got one side off I took this the right side off completely first. One bolt on the left, took both the ones on there, and it started to tip. It wanted to tip over because there's nothing holding the back on this side. So I held it with one hand, took the other bolt out, then it fell down, onto the glass, but just slid there, I guess. No harm, no foul. You can see the hood's sitting back there. It's too dented up to try to save, and I don't want a bunch of Bondo in it, so now I'm going to see what I can do with that bracket. You can see, let me zoom in here. You can see that bracket standing straight up. That one's all bent and crooked to the side, so let me see what it's going to take that off there and straighten it. So those bolts holding the hood on are 12 millimeters, and it's the same with that bracket I'm going to take off. It's also 12 millimeters. Get you guys here where you can see that bracket's bent enough I can't get my socket on there, so I'm going to bend it with a Bodyworks 2000. That's what we'll call it. I see they do have a couple of shims under there. Probably, where are we at here? There. They got shims under there. Let me back this up. I'm sure they put however many shims they need to get the fitment they need. Wow, those, I think they're just plastic or something because they're already broke. So I might have to come up with some washers. We'll see how it lines up. But you can see, let me see. Yeah, it's supposed to be, this needs to be tweaked back and that needs to be bent over. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be one straight piece here. Yeah, I got a little work to do on that baby. If you're like me and you're working on a car, you better just get the magnet out to start with. When you drop stuff and like there's a bolt on the ground, I don't want to bend over and pick it up, and sometimes you drop stuff in the engine bay, you got to find it. These little magnets that are telescoping work great. I think I can salvage it, but I'm not sure because there's a pivot point on there that got bent. So let me see if I can straighten it up, at least mostly. I do have a small torch, so I might have to heat that corner up there, because that's got quite the bend. And I'm pretty sure this part's supposed to be straight like this. Maybe even twisted like that and straight like this. Let me take another look at the other piece. I'm just gonna have to mess around with this and see how close I can get it. I may have to hammer on it, bend it, twist it. I made some progress. This moves like this, kinda, but it's in a bind. So this has got to be tweaked some more. This has to be straightened out. This has to be bent up. I don't want to film the whole thing. It'll take too long, so I'll just mess around with it and see what I can get done. Well, I got it pretty close. I used the vise and I put it on that 4x4 and pounded on it with the hammer. And that's what she looks like now compared to this one. This one I think is a little more straight. It's not perfectly straight right in here. A little bit of it bend in. But this one is in a lot more, so I'm going to have to tweak it a little bit more. It needs bent back in here, I think. But it's closer and it works. It's kind of in a bind. Nope, now it's not. I got to get this bent over because it's not supposed to catch on there. So I got to tweak this part right in here. Oops, sorry, you're magnified too close. There's a little bit of a bend right there I need to get out of it. I need to straighten this up that way, which will bring this down and make it, yeah. So right now, it's catching right there and it's not supposed to. So I got to figure out how to tweak that over, which is a heck of a lot better than it was, and I might not have to buy a new one. I think I can salvage it. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day, clean up my tools. Just looking at it, I'm going to have to order that inner fender liner. This piece down here. I'll have to look at these wires compared to the other side, see what I need. But all in all, it could have been a lot worse. This definitely got bent back, so I'll have to take this off. Well, I can see this part here is crinkled. That's crinkled down there. So, I suppose that's welded on. So, hopefully I can pull it forward far enough if I have to take the radiator out or whatever. But I'll take this top part off. Get this plastic out of the way. Do some more measuring, see what I can do to tweak that. This is almost where it belongs. It's pretty close. I'll put the hood back on, see how it lines up. This is supposed to have a plastic clip in it. The windshield should. Yeah. I may have to replace the windshield, but I guess the moisture would just go into the engine bay, not into the passenger compartment. But that's coming off of there. But maybe it's an easy fix. Oh, it just snaps on. But this is supposed to line up with that hole underneath it, and it's not. And if you try to get it to line up with it, it pulls it away from the windshield. So something here is tweaked. I was thinking about it. Maybe if it hit hard enough on the tire, it might have done something to that shock strut. So that might have to be redone somehow. Tomorrow's another day. I'll clean up my stuff, put the hood back on, keep all this stuff dry, and one less thing to worry about. But thanks for watching so far. I'll probably wait to post this till I get some more stuff done. I think one of the first things I'm going to have to do is get that air bag module, and that hopefully will let the car start again and run. And the rest of it, you know, is mostly cosmetics. So thanks for watching so far. I don't know if you're going to believe it, because I sure didn't believe it. I got in here and the thing was beeping, and I remembered, oh yeah, I left the headlights on because I was trying to see if the headlight bulb was still good, tail lights. I have one tail light, not the other one. Then I clicked the button, it said goodbye. I clicked it again, everything beeped and everything, it said ready. So I put it in gear and it moved. And it's not supposed to do that until you replace that module. So let me see here. I gotta move the seat up just a hair. Let's lean back a little too far for me. All the lights, everything. See if you guys can see all that stuff on the dash. It's just like you're ready to drive it. It does have an airbag light. But check this out. Put the brake on. This baby's driving under its own power. Oh my gosh. Put it in reverse. And we're backing up. I did this because I wanted to put it in neutral so I could get it off of the neighbor's property. We got us a runner. I just got to put it back together. That's awesome. Oh, I'm back out here tinkering on the Prius again. And I just took this plastic cover off. It seems to be pretty much intact. It was only held on by one clip. Trying to remember, I think it's set this way. There was one clip right there. The other one had broken off. And this piece fell off when I took the bumper off, and I wasn't sure where it went at the time, but I was just looking at it. It's a match to this one over here. And I was looking for clips, but it actually just snaps in. There's a couple prongs there that snaps in. So I snapped it back into place. Now, sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy. You see how this one's pretty parallel to the ground, and that one is sloped up, I don't know, 20 degrees. So that's how much this bracket is bent back. So that's going to be my biggest challenge. Somehow I'll have to maybe heat it up and see if I can get that pulled forward. Now I don't know if this is air conditioner. I'm assuming it's air conditioner, and the air conditioner still works. So this hasn't been damaged, and the Freon's still in there. But somehow I'm going to have to get something around here and pull that bracket forward. Now if this bracket, I can't tell from there, I think it's welded on. If there was any chance this was bolted on, and it might be, I can just order a new one, and that'll straighten up the radiator and get rid of that twist. But what I can try to do is what I did on another bumper is I have a heavy duty strap, put it on around a telephone pole, wrap it around here, and just back up a couple times and see if it'll move forward. But the easiest thing would be just to replace that. Now yesterday I spent 30 minutes trying to get this thing reusable because it was really twisted. Then I looked on Amazon last night, and you can buy both brand new hinges for like 20 bucks, 23 bucks something. Now right now it works pretty good. We got it lined up pretty good, but it's not perfect. But I think it's functional. It opens and closes. It just needs a new hood. So I may leave it, I'm not sure. But I was looking at parts on Amazon and also eBay. I can order the front bumper guard, bumper cover, the fender, the hood, the rear bumper, and I think a few other parts. Anyway, it was like 600 bucks, so that's not bad. You go to a lot of these junkyards want like $150 for a bumper. You can get a brand new one for 98 bucks, so not going to go that route. Let me do a little more investigating on this brace right there. I'm hoping that it's something that I can just bolt on, and because you see how damaged it is. This is what this corner's supposed to look like. You know, everything's in nice even angles. This thing's all smashed over that direction. It's possible person could heat it up and hammer it and bend it, but it's going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to see if I can't just buy a new one. Yesterday I was looking at, they had bought a new battery for it. I'll show it to you. They have the receipt. And I had a question because this was in the car. This is the one they gave me. They said they just bought a new battery for it. Well, you know how people's memories are. I looked at the receipt and it was January of 24, so almost a year and a half ago. Well, the guy came over yesterday to give me the title and told me this was the original Toyota battery that was in it. It went bad. Well, that was a year ago, so it lasted 11 years. This one, they put in 24, well, actually 11, 23. I guess it was only sitting around 2 months. I was thinking it was sitting around a lot longer than that, but this is an O'Reilly's battery, I guess, and it's already not holding the charge, and that's a year later. So I'm going to take it down to O'Reilly's, see what they can do. Otherwise, what I would like to do from the research I've done, just buy another Toyota battery for $250 because they last 10 years. I don't want something that's going to last a year or two. Then you have to do it again. So I've got it on the charger now. I checked it this morning. It had like 11.5 volts. It should have 12.5 volts. And I tested it with my battery tester, and it's showing weak. So that battery is just not a very good battery. I don't remember if I showed you guys the rear of the car. They said they were in the process of getting a new bumper for the back when the car was totaled. Somebody backed into this in a parking lot and then just drove off. And I thought, well, if I'm going to put bumpers on, I might as well replace this one too. It's all crinkled up, got a crack and hole in it. So I'm going to get a new bumper for the front and the back. I got a guy that paint them. I'm going to see what he would charge to paint everything, the hood, the bumpers, the fender. It's got another ding there. Anyway, it's going to get... Now this one, yesterday I couldn't get this tail light to work. And you can see it's full of dirt and stuff. Probably because it's got a crack in it. So that'll have to get replaced. This one seemed to work. Front headlights, one of them's intact, the other one was Gandhi. But I might just throw 2 new headlights in it to make the car look good. I got to toy around with this wiring and figure out what went to what. Got this broken bracket, but I think the wiring's good. Oh, there's where the bulb was. This was the bracket probably that popped into the frame or something. It's shot. So that'll have to be replaced, hopefully. Right from this connector, this one's gone. These are gone. I got to do some research to figure out what I need there. I'm just glad that this part isn't all torn up. Well, I'm going to do a little playing around here, and then when I go to do something that I can show you, I'll record it. Thanks for watching so far. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to try to put a little pressure on that bracket and see if I can straighten it. I've got this kind of heavy-duty strap, better than most of them that I have. I've got it hooked into the corner of that bracket by the radiator, and I got it hooked to the bumper of my Tundra. I blocked the wheels on the Tundra, and I blocked the wheels on the Prius, and I put the emergency brake on because I want the force going to the bracket. You know, I don't want to be pulling on the parking brake and transmission and stuff, so this will give me my best leverage. I just got back from O'Reilly's. I took the battery down there, and then, well, we have to charge it for an hour and a half. I just got home and started hooking this up, and they call and say, oh, it tested bad. I'm like, duh. I had it on a charger for hours. But they can't trust people, you know, and I don't blame them. But they said the only option is to swap it out with another battery. It's a $250 battery. It lasted a year. And for the same amount of money, could have went to Toyota, got a good battery that'll last 10 years. Oh well, let me set this up, see if I can get any wiggle out of it. Well, I got you guys set up. I don't want you getting hurt if something breaks, so I got you over here. Just kidding. Hopefully I can crank on that thing and you can watch it, see if it moves at all. I would think it might, but you never know. Oh, she's moving pretty good. Still got a ways to go, and more pieces might break, but it's moving. I know from experience I'll have to move it past where I want it to go because it's going to settle back a little bit. But if I had a torch, I've got a little propane bottle torch, but it doesn't put out a lot of heat. I would heat this up down here to make it move a little bit easier, but I don't have that luxury, so I'll crank it a little bit more. It's getting awfully close though. I'll move you over here where you can see straight on. It's almost where it needs to be. There was a couple inches back there. I'm trying to think of where I can take a measurement. There's got to be someplace off the firewall or something. Let me pause this, grab my tape measure. I realize it's not perfect because it's cracked down there, but I can get a piece of metal and put some self-tapping screws in there if I need to strengthen it. Basically, it's just a support to hold the radiator where it belongs, so it's not going to affect anything in an accident. So let me take a couple measurements. Let's see. What can I measure off of that hasn't changed? We'll go off of this bolt hole. Can you see that right there? No, it's just out of sight. Let me move you back just a hair. There you can see where I'm measuring from. Now I'll go to this bolt. So from there to there. 22 inches minus an eighth. And that one's 18 and a half, which means I went too far, which is good because when I release that, I'm sure it's going to go back a little bit. Let me see how far it goes back. Now we're back to 21 and a half. I don't suppose this one changed. Make sure I'm on the right one. Actually, I'm looking in the wrong spot. Because this bracket is missing. Okay, so I need to go to this bracket. Here to here. We'll call it 20 3/4. I forgot I'm missing that piece of hardware, that bracket that goes across there. Now I am going to get a new one of those, and that'll help me tell exactly where it needs to be, because once I get the arm over here, just like that one, it'll hold that exactly where it belongs. That's 21 and a half. Yeah, so we're still about 3/4 of an inch off, and I think I can get that by just releasing the tension. If it's not exact, it'll be awfully close. 21 and a half. 20 3/4. That's perfect. It just has to go back a little bit. And I'm sure I can do that without much trouble. Well, cool. We got that major problem straightened out. I'll have to figure out how to reinforce it a little bit, but it just doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Let me get you a little closer. It's just a radiator support, and it is broken there. But once I get it exactly where I want it, I can put a self-tapping screw into here and hold those together. Somehow, I'll figure out how to make it a little more solid, but she's not going anywhere. Good. Now I can get the parts ordered and start doing some reassembly. I have to find this bracket right here because there's no way of straightening the one that came out. Well, you know, there probably is, but that's it right there. It's pretty crinkled. I don't even want to try. Okay, well, that's probably all for now. I'll go down to Riley's and get the battery and see if I can get this thing started again. That'd be awesome. I would like to drive it around the neighborhood once just to see how it runs, because I'm hoping that nothing was damaged on this tire or strut or anything, the suspension, because right under here it looks like that's popped up. So just not sure. I can't see the other side so good because there's a bracket there, or I'm not looking right. Oh no, the other one has that gap too. That's what I was worried about. That has almost a ½ inch, at least a quarter of an inch gap right there. I thought something had sprung, and that one's got a gap right there. Oh good, so nothing was damaged there. I think it's just cosmetics and we can start putting her back together. Sweet. All right, I shall return. So it's time to take out the airbags. I'll take the steering wheel one out first. You can get a better look. See this little compartment or this cover here? You can put a small screwdriver right in there and pop it loose. There's one on the other side. Let me pop those out and see what we have next. Well, I was trying to release the airbag and the horn kept honking. So I got out my flashlight and see if you can see that. See that wire looking thing right there? You have to push in on that. So I took a long skinny screwdriver. I pushed in on it and that released this side. Then I'll release the other side and I think the airbag will come out. Then you have to disconnect the airbag. So let me get the other one released and then we'll unhook it. I don't have to worry about my airbag deploying because it already deployed. So I'm not even disconnecting the battery because nothing's gonna happen. Famous last words. Well, the passenger side or the right side of the steering wheel is a little bit harder, but you just again push in on that wire and you'll feel it release. Now you got two clips here, wire or connectors. You've got to lift up on this yellow tab right there. From what I saw. Oh, come on. Well, the theory is you pop those yellow tabs up and that'll release it. Then you can pry these connectors loose. So let me mess around with that for a second. Well, so much for releasing. I can see where they're supposed to release, but they did not release. Well, now I'm going to see if I can pry out those connectors without breaking anything, but they might not come out because the tabs didn't release. Yeah, that worked out perfect. Not. I took a small pick and got it out in pieces. I got it released. This one really didn't want to release, but I was able to pry the prong out of there. The release thing's still stuck in there, but I'll pull that out. I guess it'll come out easy now. The other one, maybe I can buy replacement tabs to repair it, but they're both stuck right there. I could probably pull them out and put them back in, but it'll be tough the next time too. Anyway, oh, and there's a ground wire that goes right on here, and it has a little release on it. Let's see, where's that? So I pried on the inside of it here, which released it, and then that just popped right off of there. So now I can put a new airbag in. Now I got to figure out how to take the bottom one out, where the knees go. Fortunately, there wasn't a passenger, so it didn't take those out, because then it'd probably be replacing the dash. I'm not even sure, but that's how you get the steering wheel one out. Let's see about the knee one. So this is the side where the knee went kerboom, and kind of tears up this piece of plastic here. It's held in there by clips from my understanding, and you got to get those clips out of there. I'm going to look around, see if there's any bolts too that go with it. I would think underneath maybe there'd be a bolt or two, but maybe not. Maybe it's just all clips. I don't see any bolts, but seems like maybe there ought to be. Oh, there's one right there. And if it's typical, well, it doesn't look like, is it even a bolt? Can't tell. Let me look a little closer. Oh, I know what that is. It's a set button for something. Maybe you reset the airbag. I don't know. Let me do a little more exploring. Okay, I looked around underneath there and I'll show you. There's probably a 10 millimeter right there, and there's one on the other side too. So let me get my 10 millimeter out. Where's it at? I think it's that right there. Now I also noticed, flip this back, there's a bracket up here with the bolt, and there's one on the other side. So I don't know if you have to take all four out or any of them, but I'm going to start taking them out and see what we find. Okay, so I couldn't get it out, but this plastic panel that sits right in here is just fastened with some whatever brackets. Just pull on it, it'll come out of there. And now I see there's a bolt here which probably has to come out, and I'm gonna guess probably one over here. You got to pull this out and get to it too, but I don't know for sure, but we're gonna find out. So give me just a minute. So trying to figure this out, and I thought if I can split this cover here in half, that I could get to the stuff I need to get to. I couldn't figure out how to get it apart. Then I remember watching a video where a guy had turned the steering wheel to take out a couple screws, and I was thinking it was for the airbag, but I think it's to take the bottom cover off, and that'll give you some room inside of there. So I think what you got to do is turn your steering wheel to the right and take this screw out, and then you'll have to turn it the other direction because this is sticking out too far, and get the other screw out, and then this cover will come apart. So let me give that a shot. I think I didn't hit the pause button, so I'll have to edit that part out. Anyway, turn the steering wheel. You have to push the button to give it some power to unlock the steering wheel. Turn it the other way, then you can access that screw, and then I think that cowling will come apart, and maybe we can get to the bolts that go to the airbag. I had I guess it would be the front half of it loose, but once I took those screws out, as you can see, she just popped down. So now that's out of the way. So maybe now I can see the bolts that go to the airbag. Let me get in a different position. It's one of those things, if you know what you're doing, it'd go a lot faster. But now I can get to that bolt and to that bolt and see what comes loose. I got this bolt on the left side down here loose. The one on the right side did not want to pop loose. I don't know if I'm not just getting on it quite right with the socket or what, but let me try getting these two out of here and see what happens. Now I'm using my cordless Hitachi. It's kind of a ratcheting 3/8 inch. Well, you can put different tips in here. This is 1/4 inch drive. I put an extension on it so I can get in there easier. But whatever works for you. I like to use electric or, battery operated tools as much as possible versus just turning wrenches. It's a lot faster. Yeah, so that's the answer. You got to get those 4 bolts out. Now, it's really loose except for the bolt I couldn't get to come loose. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get that bolt out of there. And then this whole thing will just come out. And I don't know if when you replace it, I'll have to find out if you get the whole plastic covering everything. I think if I can get one from a junkyard, I'll just get the whole thing and then it'll just bolt in and it'll look good. The one I saw he replaced it, this plastic was kind of deformed because of the airbag deployment. So I just as soon replace that plastic if I can. Let me see if I can get that other bolt out of there somehow. Well, as you can see, I got it out of there. This one was the hard one. I don't know why it goes up into this bracket here, but I just couldn't get a good bite on it. And now I got a harness here. It goes to the computer, and I'm assuming this little clip is going to have to get popped off of there, and then this will come out. It's a little different than the other ones. I'll get a small screwdriver in there. I've got this little one right here. It should go right underneath there, or else I'll use the pick. Get that out of there. So I need to replace the module that controls the airbags in the front here. I won't watch a bunch of videos, but I can't quite figure out where it's at on this model. But this is the wire that goes to the airbag, so I'm going to assume it's back in here someplace. So I started prying up on this, and it looks like it's going to pop loose, but it's kind of caught on these. So maybe I'm hoping this doesn't have to come up too, but if it does, maybe, oops, now it's not back into place. Maybe it's not that big a deal, but I'm going to try to pry it from both sides. I just used a flat screwdriver. I got in here, lifted it up a little bit. Oh yeah, it looks like that's how it's going to work. So let me get that pried off of there from the other side, and let's see if there's a module under there. Well, I found the module, and this thing just pops up. It's got 4 clips on it, and the way they made it, once you get it loose, it just lifts up like this, like it's on a hinge, and pops out of there. So no big deal. But there's the module. It's got either 12 or 4, I think it's 12 millimeter bolts, 3 of them holding it in there. I may have to take some stuff off the sides. I'm just not sure how you get in there exactly. I can see one bolt easy, and I got to get those wiring harnesses unclipped. So let me attempt that, see what it's going to take. Well, this doesn't look like it's going to be too bad of a job. This carpet on the sides here is held on with Velcro. Come on, flashlight, cooperate. Why you gotta fall? Anyway, you can see that Velcro strip there. That's what holds the carpet on. And then once you get that off, you can see that other bolt there, and there's one on the other side. So I will use my Chemo 90-degree ratchet. I don't have it out here right now. That'll reach in there and get those bolts out. Let me find out if they're 10 or 12. And then we'll have to unplug the harness. Maybe it won't be too bad. That wasn't too bad. I got the first one out there. I used my Chemo 90-degree ratchet. It works pretty good for getting in tight places where this one won't go. And of course, the bolt fell off, so I got my little telescopic magnet. We can snag that out of there. I don't know if I can film this or not, where you guys can see it. I don't think so. I'm gonna have to hold the carpet with one hand, try to get the ratchet in there with the other. The brake pedal's kind of in the way of the carpet, so let me see what I can do. Okay, I got that one out of there. You can see the bolt's missing. Of course, it fell down inside the carpet here, so I had to get my magnet and fish it out of there. So now I'm gonna go to the other side, and then hopefully there's some slack. Get that out of there so I can unhook the wiring harnesses. Well, I don't think it's gonna come out from this side from what I can see. Some plastic in the way here. I may have to go straight back in through here. See if I can get my head down there and see a little bit better. I also have to come in from the other side because this side is a no-go. Put my hand back in there and see if I can feel the bolt. Nope, I can't. I hope I don't have to take out the glove box or whatever, because I still don't think that'll help. All right, let me figure this out. Well, I tried to go at it from the side, and I could get the socket on there. See if I can put this someplace where you can see down there. And I could get this chemo on top of the bolt, but I can't get any leverage to break it loose. So I'm gonna get a regular socket, see if I can reach in there. Or if it's a 12 millimeter, I'll see if I can get a long 12 in there and at least break it loose. Well, here's what I ended up doing. I went to the other side with the 12 millimeter box-in wrench, and there's enough room under that white plastic to get on it. And I stuck my face down in here so I could see, and I got it broke loose. So now I should be able to get in here with this thing and get it out of there. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see anything there. We'll go in just a little closer. Maybe you can see something. I'm gonna have to use both hands, so I've got to get my face clear down there so I can see when I'm on the bolt. Well, I got it out of there. What a pain that was. Let me get my flashlight on. There's a wire right there, and I was on top of it, which didn't give me I couldn't reach the bolt, but I went underneath that wiring harness and I got right on top of the bolt, loosened it up. Of course it fell off, but I could see it. I got it out with the magnet again. So now it should be loose. Let's see if it's loose. Oh yeah. I hope there's not wires on the front of it. I can just pull it out. Looks like I can. And I'll get that wiring harness off of there. And I'm not sure how to do that. Let me figure it out. Okay, so it's not so bad. There's a little tab here. Where am I? You push down on that tab, it'll release it, and then you just pull this out. See how it goes in and out there? And that releases the wiring harness, I believe. It should just pop out of there. There! Easy peasy, right? I mean, I've had worse jobs. So I just want to make sure I'm getting the right one. You can send these off. Sorry, let me get zoomed out a little bit. You can send these off and they'll reset them, and then you can put them back in. I'm going to see, they're like $35 to $80 depending on who you send it to. I'm going to see if I can find one from a junkyard or eBay that matches this number. And a lot of these parts I found, you have to go by the VIN number and the 7th and 8th characters. In my case, it's B3. Some of them I've seen are DU or EU, but you got to make sure you get the right parts. In case, like I said, this one is, the VIN number is B3, so I'll have to make sure it fits. Now the fun part is going to be getting that back in there and getting these bolts on. This one won't be bad, this one won't be bad, but this one, it's going to be a booger. But anyway, that's how you remove your airbag module on a 2013 Toyota Prius C3. And maybe there's others that are the same. I have no idea. I've seen some that look like they were underneath the seat. I saw one guy was taking this off to disconnect something. So depending on what you have, they're in different locations. This is a 2006 Ford Taurus, and I thought I would check or replace the cabin air filter. I bought a new one off of Amazon, and it's located underneath this cowling by the passenger side windshield wiper. There's 3 clips you have to remove. That's one of them. That's the middle one. This is the one on the far left, and there's another one right there. You can see how it clips onto the plastic, and the bottom part holds this tube. Must be a vacuum line. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, then you just kind of have to pry up on this, and it kind of just pops up. It might come all the way out of there, I'm not sure, but you can see how much room you got down there. It's not much. I'm not even sure exactly how you get the filter out of there. What I'm going to try to do, get not zoomed in here, there. I'm going to try to get this completely out of the way, and then maybe they'll give me some room to work on getting this thing up and get it out of there. So give me just a minute. Well, I got it out of there. It looks like whoever put it in there might have put it in wrong, because it's all crinkled up. So they probably put the short side on the long side. Not sure, I'll have to look a little closer, but I couldn't hardly get my hand in there, so I just used this pick and grabbed it and pulled it out of there. Engineers, come on, man. Look at all the leaves and stuff in there. I'm gonna have to get out my vacuum, and hopefully I can vacuum all that out of there. But it looks like, it's hard to tell from here, it's deceiving, but it looks like the big part, yeah, it looks like the big part goes on the left. I don't know. Let me get my vacuum out and suck that crap out of there. I've got this old vacuum I'm always using on cars, and my dog hair, and I'm gonna run this in there and see how much of that stuff I can clean out, and then figure out which way this filter goes for sure. Well, I got it vacuumed out. I decided to get out my tripod so you can watch me struggle at this. I also got out my LED flashlight so we can get a better look inside of there. Well, I see some more leaves in there, so I'm going to vacuum just a hair more, so I'll pause this. Well, looking in there, the narrower part is on the right. So, as you're looking at the vehicle, so the wide part over here goes on the passenger side toward the quarter panel. See if I can stuff this baby in there. I just can't believe that, smart as engineers are, they can't come up with something better. That should be able to pull it. That plastic housing should come right out of there, and a person ought to be able to just slide this right in place without all this muss and fuss, because this is ridiculous. I see on the filter there's a tab right here, and I'm assuming that's on the up part, so it kind of holds it in place. Could be wrong though. Well, I think that's it. It's kind of a pain, but I guess it's not too bad. The outside of the filters got plastic on it versus like that other one that looked like it was just flimsy. It's probably why it collapsed. But let's see, I'll put it back together. You can watch me do that. Hopefully you can see it. It's just a matter of pushing the clips back on. Metal, 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 no metal. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let's try this one. That one's on. So this tube here goes in this, and then that. Ouch. Ouch. That goes there. Poor design, that's all I can say. In my opinion, you know. Well, that plastic trim is sticking up too high. There's a big gap there. And I see there's some clips underneath there. So, well, I'll just take this off and show you. See, there's a clip right there. And maybe there's another one, I'm not sure. Gotta get those tabs lined up, I'm sure. So this thing, see that big gap there? It's almost an inch over here. So let me get those tabs pushed back in, see if it'll line up. Well, I never really paid attention to it before, but it's down to touching the windshield here. There's still a little bit of gap. It seems like it should go down further, but I don't know how to get it down there. I slammed on it, it seems really solid. I guess that's as good as it's gonna get. So if you have to do this, good luck to you. It's really not that bad. Probably take you 10 minutes, but it's a pain in the butt. Should have been a lot easier. Thanks for watching.